what I think about the NBA disrespect for the finals between Stephen A. Smith, LeBron James, and also talking about sidekick culture. Well, I'm going to combine other things. The disrespect for this NBA finals has been absurd. Uh, Stephen A. Smith chiming in about Memphis and all that. That didn't need to be dealt with during this finals. LeBron James's takes and all that mess, and he always got something to say. You never don't see Steph Curry got all this. You don't see Kawhi Leonard, even Kevin Durant. I mean, most people are respectful of what's going on, but LeBron James always got to make it about him, and always got to find a way. And Stephen A. Smith got. There's a reason why they at odds with each other because they two pieces of the same pie. So that's just embarrassing that you can't just respect uh, OKC and Indiana. John Moran is right. We should be talking about the finals, not some distractions. Bad enough Stephen A got busted for playing solitaire, but he going on about Memphis like he's doing a political rant because he's trying to appeal. So that's the agenda. And of course, LeBron, he can't let everything got to be about him. You know, his butt got knocked out way back in the first round. His butt been parked for well over a month. He still got to make it about him. It's the sad state of affairs. Now I want to talk about the sidekick. Sidekick ain't just regulated to sports. Happens in other factors of life too, because happened with Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones. A lot of people, some people still think Quincy Jones had everything to do with Michael Jackson's success. That notion and lie been spread around. But Michael proved that he didn't need him. He made the Dangerous album. He went on with his career. He had a career before and after. But there is this sidekick that you need this. They do it a lot. Now, I talk about it in other sports, in sports too. Let me talk about another things. Joe Montana, Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice wound up being considered the GOAT by some. Montana was by some. But it proved that you can have two people in the same situation and people can choose sides as opposed that this driver passenger nonsense. It's a team sport, but you can have two folks that are equal substance and it can happen, you know. It's funny how um, they try to do that with Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, and unfortunately, Elgin Baylor didn't get on the chip. But when West lost, they made note of it. When Chamberlain lost, they made note of it. Chamberlain wins, they downplay his dominance because he didn't win enough. So this got always some notion, and the same thing with Jerry West. So sometimes they use it for their own narrative. It all depends. But like I said in previous video, I didn't see that with Dr. J and Moses Malone. You know, Larry Bird was great at what he did, but they also said the Celtics had the greatest front court ever. So you can have two things right at the same time. Who says that you can't? But at the same time, if you have two greats, give them their due. But there was obviously a discrepancy between Jordan and Pippen. Jordan was the better player, just like Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars. But they were known as the bad boys. Depends on how they want to sell them. You know, the Rockets, Hakeem won. Clyde Drexler was on that second championship team that won, but they get downplayed to an extent. These things are all subjective. Now, obviously, if you don't have a fellow all-star or a fellow great player on that level, I understand that. But don't act like it's all or not. Don't act like Dave Robinson didn't contribute to Tim Duncan winning that first chip. And that second one, as a matter of fact, against the Nets, because he was blocking shots on it, he came up big. He retired with 2 rings. Sometime or not, there's this narrative that he did it all by himself. And no one's going to sit there and say he did it all by himself, but we hold certain people in places who dominate. That's the difference. We're not taking away the team aspect, and we're not going to take away if someone was a sidekick or however you want to call it, because everyone has the co-star. Yes, co-stars in movies, you know. But just because you the main star don't mean that you the end all be all, that it can't be shared by two. Now, when you watch Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman and Michael B. Jordan both held their own. Chadwick might have had to leave, but Michael B. Jordan held his own. I mean, he had his place for what his character was representing. It covers in all walks of life. So don't act like it's just the end all be all. It requires all of it to make it in totality. You know, um, baseball, I seen it with the Yankees with Jeter and A-Rod. They won the chip, but it was a team effort. Yes, you get acknowledged for your ring, but it was a team effort. Even way back in the day with Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. It was acknowledged. They were seen as a team and they acknowledged the individual greatness. Why can't you do that? But anyway, this NBA disrespect for this final has been really sad, pathetic, and they all need to offer both teams an apology. They didn't hijack it with side commentary and stuff that had nothing to do with what was going on with OKC and Indiana, and that's embarrassing. But anyway, those are my thoughts about that and that whole sidekick thing, because the parts and components are needed, you know. And one thing about when the Lakers won, we were like, how much was it Magic? How much was it Kareem? How much was it Pat Riley? Was Showtime? All of it. It was a combo of all that. And Jerry Buss even got in on it. You know, we were looking at the totality. This notion that you just, was all by yourself. I mean, as great as Jordan was, he did have help with Pippen and them. That's no dispute. And the triangle offense with Tex Winter and Phil Jackson. But he was the best player on the team. Stop the cap and the edits and all the side clips to make something out that ain't there. He acknowledged that he had the right teammates and the right pieces, because that's what it takes, because it's a production and everybody's involved. But you do have people that stand out, but in some cases you can have more than one. Just like when the Patriots was winning all them chips, Adam Vinatieri came up big, you know. So don't act like, what was going on. And the defense was big for Brady, for Belichick. See how that backfired with Belichick without Brady. Just saying, you saw Brady without him. Sometimes you want to see it proven, sometimes you don't. We've had different instances in sports, but you see where it comes across. Because unless you're playing golf or tennis or boxing or something, and you do have a team in your corner, that's individual sports. But team sports, but you still know who stands out. So that's all I want to address, those two topics. All right, please like, subscribe, work on thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. My one time. Peace.